Mimo bibi akwaba eba Melody TV so. Media kwa kobo rant bi so a journalist bi edebetu udwa in 2020. Bem say sa 2020 na journalist no dey asem we betu udwa no. Na Ghana for ya adwen ankoso. So I think say after sa 2020 no, even now people use that jandam against Mahama. Inti was say ye botre nkrofo na nkrofo ti ase nti me ba be read journalist nsem a wode tu dwa. Also one of the things ya na Asantes for eka and they say wo mo say Mahama eka say onti obia na okoka say akokọ sa etre akroma kra nya ne fe. Wonza Asantes for asem we ye omo kan no say mbra na Mahama Asantes for ni bi. Mo say mbra na Mahama eye president no. Asem a okoka tra Asantes for no. Na etie for sa asem ni nyina no ende say yes ye ntro say Mahama embie na no anka santra Asantes for da na journalist bia na sa time no wo ye adwuma ama MPP ende MPP for afa sa journalist na adwuma wo ye adwuma ewo presidency sa journalist no enokofa Mahama ni tape ena wo doctor ye osesa Mahama nsem wo kan ye. Now, listen to the breakdown of the whole thing. Now, also in 2015, I was working with multimedia in Kumasi, and then President Mahama was on a working visit. At a meeting with NDC members, President Mahama tasked them to work hard for the party's victory because his government had done very well in Ashanti region. The journalist no 2015 or no ye juma multimedia ewo Kumasi. Ena Mahama bae a wo be visite. Nti Mahama bae a wo be visite na Mahama eka NDC for ne se. Ono Mahama wa ye mpuntunwuma bebre ewo Kumasi. Nti NDC for ne ya na wo monka omoba radio so a wo monka. Now was say he said in key that the MPP says they hadn't done anything, but for those MPP members of even for those MPP members, even if he paints the street of Kumasi with gold, they will say he has not done anything. He quoted the Akan adage, Akoko sachra kroma enyenefe. The dance of the fowl is never nice to the hawk. Inti Mahama say MPP for enam radio so no moka so no Mahama nyehe. Ena waka say more MPP for there. Ye nim say politics ena ye. Inti mo no say me ye Ghana me painting the gold, me painting Kumasi gold kra mo MPP for nya de ben mo fe. Na mo MPP for we mo no akokọ osatra kroma enye ne feda. Iti Mahama ni MPP for na kasa. Also, so I tuned in to listen to City Eyewitness News. And first story was President Mahama had passed derogatory comments against Asantes. They played a tape where President Mahama was heard saying Asantes were ungrateful. And even if he painted roads in Ashanti with gold, they won't appreciate. Because it's a day no enumerate here. Obi a wotie City FM Eyewitness News bia 5:30. Into enumerate 5:30. Eno no Kumasi but otuni in se wotie City FM. First news of City FM for reported and they say Mahama edi Asantes for atem. Na Mahama akwa akoka wo Kumasi say Asantes for no omo eye bonia yefo. No Mahama penti ewias Asantes for coin ni na gold kra na nya de Asantes for ni na omoni beso. Journalist a wono se wo ho a we hu wate de Mahama aka no. Oso ni radio na asemfo fra ye se ye de hye Mahama no. O se and I say Joy FM also had that same story as their lead on their news, discussing and playing the voice that City FM had played. There was tension on these programs because it was becoming really tribal from the submissions of their resource persons. I was worried and disappointed in Mahama. Inti Joy FM form so babe bo tape. Not just say yasesa Mahama no Mahama asemo a okan no yasesa na no ene ye di tape na kwa koma City FM for ne Joy FM eno mo nso abo tape no na afa Ghana ngrofo asom say hey na afa ngrofo di Mahama atem ngrofo di obi a won kan ye di asem na hye no. Inti journalist to us, I was sitting in the Love FM newsroom when Erastus Asaridonko, my colleague and Joy FM regional correspondent, walked in. He was the one who followed President Mahama on the tour. He sits, and after some time, turns to me to say, what is on the tape is doctored. I got interested. It was also not in a Love FM. And multimedia, so no ye multimedia. Into multimedia for correspondent that Odi Mahama echi eko bebiano. Eba bontebeka se dabi. Mi ye multimedia. Joy FM for a breaky story no. Now so mimi di Mahama echi no. Sa asem na tape na Joy FM for bono. Mahama nkasa. Me were recording no. Emra na Mahama akasa. Wankasa tape. Sa asem na omoka o tape ni so na Mahama nka. Tie. See, he played his tape for me, and it was entirely different from what was played on radio. So I started my investigations by asking him some questions to confirm all my doubts about his tape, and I was convinced President Mahama never said so, those things. Inti obo tape ni share one no journalist no. Inti obo tape no who say, hey, wait there, in some more kasa Mahama can enya no okan o tape we so. To bisa ne say no who said dabi. Erastus tape no and then the real one. Now see, so I asked myself, how did the radio stations get that tape? Why didn't these stations call their correspondents? Then Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, then Deputy Communication Minister, said the presidency will provide the original tape to prove the one the stations had was doctored. So bisa question say, hey, it's Joy FM4 ni City FM4. Why na di tape ni momo? Tape na ye doctor tape a yese Mahama kwa di Asantes for atem no. Why na di tape ni momo? Tie ho na Felix Ofosu-Kwakye Deputy Communications Minister. Eno ba bontemeka say o omo the real tape no ebeba Ghana for na Ghana for hu say Mahama ndi Asantes for atem. Was the next morning on Angel FM. Kwame Dinkra brought in his correspondents who followed the president, and he said Mahama didn't say those words and played his tape. The Angel FM, Erastus and Kesben FM tape was same as the one Felix of the presidency provided. So who did the first tape? Intinafe Angel FM fonso correspondent that Odi Mahama echi enso ba Angel FM be born the tape ma obi ehun say de ye de sha Mahama na nya sa na Mahama kan e. Intinasisi ano Kesben for a correspondent aboni tape a wo tre say Mahama nkasa. Erastus nso aboni tape a wo ye multimedia for correspondent ono nso aboni tape a ye hu say Mahama nkasa. Angel FM for nso abomu tape o mu hu say Mahama nkasa. Sisi ana question ne say why na ye first tape no e na secretly o ko cinema City FM for ene Joy FM for e ma Joy FM for abo e wo radio so e ma Ghana for ahase edi Mahama atem. Why na yes our tape no yintie. Then I knew something wasn't right, so I started asking relevant questions on social media. I asked City and Joy to tell us where both got their tapes and why they were not speaking to their correspondents. Then a colleague journalist directed me to the right place to search. Tehona washate so obisa questions. Obisa City FM4, munya mo tape wen, inti eho ena wo bi e directing no. Or say I told my editor then Said Ali Yakub and asked why Joy hadn't called Erastus, the one he assigned. I defended with my all that Erastus was credible because I knew him, and as a colleague, I appreciate his diligence towards his work. Now, the interesting thing is Joy FM4 ewo correspondent I found Erastus wode Mahama enam. Inti nanka mo pese mo verify bibia nka Erastus one na mudin kan eko. It will be a question say inti di enti na Joy FM4 mu nipa a wo ye Erastus a wodi Mahama echi no mu embisa no wo because say name tape a doctor tape no mu di mirika akwa akobo tape no. Or say Said then called Samson Ladi, host of Newsfile, who worked under him when he was at Love FM, and told him what we had found out, and told him since they will be discussing it the following on Newsfile, he can call Erastus for a report. On Newsfile, Erastus gave his report and answered all questions like he told me, but Kweku Baku strangely wanted to undermine his account by bringing in the first tape. Erastus was attacked by MPP goons on social media, but I kept defending him because I knew he was credible. Into Newsfile, Joy FM4 Joy News for Omotaye every Saturday. Afi omo befre Erastus no. Se won mra be tretre nsemu na that day no na Kweku Baku aba Newsfile so. Inti emra na kweku ba ko ba news file so a Erastus ebe training nsem na ase kweku ba ko epese orabehye Erastus ne nsem no emu obese orabehye Erastus asem se Erastus no mfa mfi onko Erastus no etre nsem wie ya MPP fo hu sa se Erastus no pese okasa tre Mahama no okasa ma Mahama no na MPP fo nso edwa se Erastus no so honko na de oka no enye ne kre first step na ye doctored no enumum na ye no kware. Now let's continue. On Friday morning, City FM conceded the tape they had wasn't from their correspondent, and the one sent by the presidency seemed legit after they analyzed it on air. They compared both to others provided by other media outlets, and the conclusion was the first tape was tampered with. Until by Friday, City FM for some more reported story in ama the nkrofo de beye Mahama wo mo de aye na ewie nti by Friday na City FM fo ankasa ba bonte beka say ye tape na ye din kan boy ya ye say Mahama di Asante fo atem no say enye no kware o because ye nya real one no a efri Mahama ho a ye nso ye nipa a odi Mahama echi nso di tape na ba ye hu ne say first one na ye boy ya ye say Mahama di Asante fo atem no say enye no kware ye ntro Mahama ndi obi atemti by Friday na City FM fo aba beka but nini nechi edin no yesi bebi a yebese wudin akwa kodru no enye ho ena nipa kro ne ba be pepa na obetumi edi akwa kodru. Nti o say Kwame Edinkra on Angel FM asked a question I will never forget, and I use that principle in my journalism work. He said Angel FM sent our reporter and has come with his version of the tape. Why is no journalist owing up for the first tip? Nti Kwame Edinkra nsem wo kan ne say omo Angel FM for omo de omo reporter di Mahama echi omo reporter ne buy no or the tape aba tape na omo reporter ne di aba no Mahama wendi Asante fo atem nti nipa kra obo first tape no di encha na journalist bi eni ho a won ba abonten mra mbeka say eye me na me record ye eye indeed Mahama enodi Asante fo atem journalist bi eni ho a wa ba abonten aba beka sa ba wo bia individual reporters ni na correspondent ni na no omu ni na tape a wo de ba na etre say Mahama ndi Asante fo atem nti sa tape na ye boy ya na Mahama ye si wo di Asante fo atem no sa tape na free he o say he said let's say the presidency has doctored their tape, but how is theirs same as that of my reporter and Love FM and Kesben FM? Did the presidency also doctor the tapes of those radio stations or bribe these reporters to swap their tapes? To be a question. Say, Mahama defending or the tape from presidency abase Windy Asante fo atem. Afi ye hu ne say Mahama de no the same as Yen Angel FM, ye reporter no. Ye hu ne say Mahama de no the same as Love FM for dia. Ye hu say Mahama ne de no the same as Kesben FM for nso de. No. First person ni tape na o yase Mahama di Asante fo asem no hwan obi mbra abonten no yin nim tre say indeed ono no record ye obi eni ho a wo ba abonten na tre say afi ye hu ne say ade na doctored na tie ha o say all this while on radio in Kumasi mushroom groups had sprung up calling on President Mahama to apologize and admonish Asantes to vote against him. Those things overshadowed the debate on which tape was original, and the tribal comment on radio was sad. I say that time no, now groups say peja wo mumu Kumasi say hey Mahama onyo bia ye beto abama no we di Asante fo atem or ye tribal bigot ni ye di Mahama atem. It is that time now wo new tape na ba bontin na ye trese Mahama nkasa ani na no na trese MPP fo asum de dende ma groups bia asum de dende say Mahama odi atem nti ama sa clear na ye o say ye clear Mahama din no empia mba bontin ntumi an clear Mahama din na tie. Also, in August 2016, I moved from Love FM to Ultimate and Ebusia FM. In one of our conversations in the newsroom, that issue came up and everything made sense and I was shocked. The guy who doctored the tape was a reporter called Opon Brinya. And also you know the idea no etwem ewie. Sa time no asem na twem ewie ye di Mahama atem ewie ya ye campaign na the tia na ewie nti Ghana for we have moved on. Into no journalist nanka say movie from multimedia e ma fe okokoye adwuma e wo Ultimate eni Ebusia FM. Into one of our discussions or ne colleague journalists wo newsroom no and as asem no esan so trinity pie na embra as asem ne trinity pie no na oti nipa kra na wo hye the doctor tape no echi nipa kra wo ye editing no edibegu Mahama ho fin e na o say nipa kra no ne ye frɛ no opon brenya o say after doctoring the tape he sent it to various media houses because apparently he worked on the side giving media houses outside of Kumasi stories. That is a common practice in the media space in Ghana, especially with smaller media houses in small towns. If you say a branch and a year editing or ye no and or ye fast or the cost any CTFM for any join news for because a branch and no you be or tire say jumano now unreported to one open media house into new news being a breaking news no they are my big stations no now big stations no so they sound say one person will breaking news be in 10 minutes no a branch and a year the sending more one on cocoa breaking news no but see after doctoring the tape he went into the main station vault to delete. So, when national security came, the fake tape had been deleted and it couldn't leak back to him. I was told after this, the station took measures where nobody with access can delete files from the vault. If you are no, the new media station now no wakono and okote say a branch no eye adwuma wo ho. The new media station now wakono. Sorry, a call came through. But senior ye kano. Not say journalists now were editing no ye juma was a new station ya branch yi wako yi nti ho no kokote no kware no say yes a journalist no na journalist ni ye editing ni wie no nim say national security ebeba omo ho nti journalist ni be delete data no from main vault. Now I say this upon Brenya guy had been doing so much shady deals and was one day arrested for posing as an ass. You can Google fake Anas bastard to get that story. That guy works in a big state agency and he was even a presidential staffer under this government. Inti sa branch here no. Yesi wo no nyama bone kwa na no di na mbre bi ba kra wo ye no ho te se wo ya Anas e no di ko bu obi e ne eche no. Na MPP ba so no. Se oye enyama ti a NDC in opposition na wo ya ma MPP nti MPP for fa na ejuma as presidential staffer. As the President Mahama has suffered for that lie, and people still use those statements against him when clearly he didn't say that. Nobody cared to defend him and call out tribal bigots who took advantage of it for political expediency. And you see, up till now, Mahama was so far from Adewe. Obi ani hwa wo ye na adwen so nko be defend Mahama up till ende nkrofo yusu tiano still wo mo frɛ Mahama tribal bigot. This is ex-president John Dramani Mahama. Ye ka so obi abre wo politics mu jandam de Ghana for the ayena Mahama wa bre. I'm not going to lie to you. Mahama wa bre papa. Hey! Maza! Enya asem ketwa. Obi besie enya asem kuma. Na nipa kra otroye journalist a otroye. Your friend Austin Wood. Montre moi jo comment box ni mo.